This past weekend, I was able to go to my mom's place and go through the garage. Some of you may have read, my dad passed away in March. And due to COVID and my work schedule, I haven't been able to get back there and go through the tools like I wanted to go through his garage. Right after the funeral, I did for a couple of days, and it was super cathartic going through all the tools he used, some of the ones that he just had stashed. I mean, he's kind of a hoarder, but it's awesome because I feel connected to him going through all the tools, and I think a few of my siblings feel the same way. It's been hard not being able to go back this summer, but finally this past weekend I was able to, and I had a truck from Jeep, so I took that and filled it up with a bunch of stuff. So for this issue of my fabricator blog, I'll be kind of going through some of the stuff that I got and what it means to me. I've got this thing loaded up. I'm stoked to have it. Obviously, the circumstances are kind of brutal, but it's helped me through the grieving process be able to go through the tools that he used and he touched and the things that he made with them. And I think talking to one of my brothers, we kind of have this running dialogue with him in our heads, like, what did he use this for? I've written before about how I believe that, you know, objects can have a soul, and it pertains to, or it's dependent on what was put into either making that tool or using that tool. So I firmly feel that my dad is still a part of these tools. New tonneaus are nice. Make everything so easy. See the 419? It's these are made in Toledo, so that's the area code for Toledo. Pretty cool. There's a box of random wrenches. I think my mom had found those all over the shop and just put them in this box. This log right here, it's from my grandpa Welton. So it's my dad's dad, his barn. And so I decided that I wanted to use a chunk of it as a base for the urn that I'm making. I'm gonna hollow out an area of this and put a base with a threaded rod in it and screw this in, and then this will be the base for it. One of the things about this year and the timing of everything, my dad passed away on March 12th, so it was right before our state lockdown went into effect. And I had some siblings from out of state and out of town that ended up quarantining with my mom, which was really good. And then my brother Travis, who's an engineer for Chrysler, decided to get into woodworking. And he's been making the most incredible tables and cutting boards and just whatever he can think of. So he was actually showing me some of the woodworking tools and how they're used. But I just grabbed a bunch of random stuff. There's other things still there that I need to get, but this is a pretty full load. Giant bolt cutters. This is another thing that came out of my grandpa's barn. On a window, but my mom had already taken one of them and turned it into a wall hanging piece. I think she made kind of a board, a pin board to post pictures and stuff on. I'm not sure. I was thinking of making either an end table out of it or something. There's a chop saw. This is what we used to cut that log because there were some nails in it. So we used a blade that was safe for nails, and then my mom and my brother said they weren't going to be using this, so I could definitely put it to use. This is a super cool kind of Art Deco Craftsman drill press. Got the handles back on, but one of the most dad things about this is he has an awesome sense of style, but also probably was the most practical person in the world. So So if the only switches he had to make it run were household switches, that's what he used. Knowing my dad, he would also not mind if I took this apart and put something a little more appropriate on there. So eventually that's what I'll do. It's nice to have this cool, old school Sears, Roebuck and Company Craftsman drill press. This cool little Machinist Vise. That was really slick. He would get these and kind of fix them up, clean them up, and use them. No idea what he was holding onto this for. It's some kind of tank. But I'll find something to use it for. Cool channel locks for taking off oil filters. It's a cool old wrench. The spring mechanism. I have a allergic reaction to Harbor Freight. Dad loved it, so no doubt many of these tools came from Harbor Freight. But he also would collect old vintage tools from auctions or from different sales he'd come across, or even if he found something on the side of the street, he would usually just stop and pick it up. Not really sure what the cable is for. I will use it. So this is funny. I was going through, the drill press was sitting on a wooden drawer chest, and in one of the drawers I opened and there were 4 sets of these. That's Dad. Here is something that he bought in the Philippines when they were on a trip. Handmade, pretty rad. A set of American-made Pry Bars. This is an old Jigsaw. You know it's cool when it's got a steel body. So I'm gonna see how well that works. And I wouldn't be surprised, I'm not positive about this, but my dad had a lathe for a while that he did a bunch of woodwork on, and I wouldn't be surprised if he made these handles, because he did that for a lot of his tools. Made new handles for them out of wood. So it's a router. Old Stanley, made in America. Just can't get enough of hatchets and axes. A couple of ratcheting combination wrenches, metric and standard. Some bearing pullers, a bunch of carabiners. I think sometimes with my dad, the reason that there are so many of certain things is he worked on a lot of different job sites, and sometimes it would just be cheaper to run to Menards and grab another one than to go back home. And then they had a 2-for-1 sale, gotta get 2 of them. And after a while, that all adds up. Now here's a jig for, I believe it's for cutting square holes in wood. That's what my brother told me. So I'm gonna give that a shot at some point. Let's see, Mortise fixture. I'm not much with wood, so that's gonna be a learning experience for me. I'll tell you calipers, drill sets, drills, drill bits. And this is an old school hand drill, which is pretty sweet. This is just another random box of random things. Some chain, some sockets, spark plug socket, some socket organizers, and a bunch of dead ladybugs. So this thing, I'm not sure exactly what. I mean, obviously it's a belt sander, but it's all made out of wood. I'm not sure if he found part of it and then turned the wheels. That's something he would do a lot. If he bought it or if he built it from like a Popular Mechanics blueprint or something like that. But let me see how it works. Maybe even recreate it in metal, but I just thought it was super interesting. Like a laminated, this is just a piece of countertop. And then the rest of it is just wood and a couple of bearings inside of the wood wheels. Just plug it in and see if it runs. You have to adjust the tension a little bit. But yeah, it works. I don't know, what should I wonder if I should kind of remake it out of steel or if I should just leave it like it is. Got some welding rod. So here's a for cylinder hone. Bits for woodworking. Nickel alloy, that's always nice to have handy. Is it 7018? Oh wait, no, it's not cast again. So this is all stuff for doing cast iron, cast steel, and some general purpose 6013 I could use out on the farm. Without going through all of this stuff, that's what I grabbed this time. There's more truckloads left. It's been therapeutic to be able to go through, and a couple of times I've been able to be home, go through the shop, go through the garage, and now to have so many of his tools to work with them, to put them to use, is pretty satisfying. I feel like he'll be with me out in the shop more than ever. I mean, I didn't get into wrenching or fabricating or anything when I was younger. That was what my dad, my mom's dad, they were both incredible at it, and I just was around that all the time when I was a kid. I just didn't like it. I didn't do it. I just hung around and kept him company. But later in life, I found it, and I guess it's in the blood. So there might be something to that, something in the genes. Especially with my brother Travis now doing this incredible woodworking. I'm excited to see where he takes that. I hope you enjoyed my unpacking of sorts. I'm gonna continue to go through this stuff and find buried treasure. I'd be stoked to hear what you found from your dad or your mom or your grandparents, and what they left you or what you dug up years later, and how you've gone through putting the pieces together of how they used it or what they used it for. If you have, shoot me an email at josh@browndogwelding.com. I'd be stoked to hear about it and maybe write about it at some point. So either way, looking forward to hearing your feedback on this. Have a good one.